Hello and welcome to this edition of Rinkside Digest. I'm your host Kirk Day, along with my co-host Noel Byrne and Nick Miller. And in this video, we're going to be going over a few possible trade candidates that have been making the rounds recently in the minds of analysts and fans alike. Lots of big names as well, because we kind of got what the market is valued at right now with those trades that happened again with Philly, and we also have the possibility of a Carter Hart trade, so we kind of know what it's going to be like, as well as the contractual wise with the Gavrikov signing as well. We kind of got the idea of what's going to be like now. So the trade's gotten done pretty early this year, so we might see a few coming soon, hopefully, maybe not, but we'll see. A few big names, so we'll go over those in this video, but before we get into it, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already to the channel. A lot of fun stuff coming. The playoffs are well underway. Could be over before we know it. We might get our winner of the Stanley Cup Finals, as well as then we got the offseason. A lot of fun stuff coming with the signings, trades, draft. All of that is very, very soon, so you don't want to miss it. Make sure to subscribe. We're going to be going over our first player here now, which is probably what most of you guys have heard recently. It was pretty the big one. It's a Connor Hellebuyck. He's drawing interest from a few teams, kind of with that nobody really understanding what direction the Jets are going to go into. I got a list of, I think it's 4 or 5 teams here from Daily Faceoff. Frank Cervalli's ideas of where we can go. We're going to go over them, give our reasons as to why they would probably work and what we think, and at the end we'll be going over which is probably our favorite of those, and if none of those are our favorite, we'll be going over which one we think we just could be of the two, or of the few that we have. So we're going to go to our first one here, which is the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm not going to read what's on the screen. You guys can read that if you want. Just to kind of give our thoughts on it. First up is Pittsburgh. I do like the idea of Pittsburgh. You know, they have a kind of a bit of a... They haven't had a solid goalie since Marc-Andre Fleury, really, or the Matt Murray Stanley Cup winning year. But with the Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang all nearing the end of their tenure in the NHL, a good goalie to get them a last run at a Stanley Cup, I think would be a fantastic idea. It may not work overly with your contract wise. You don't really have the biggest prospect pool to go over, but it will work if you can get him. I think that is probably the idea you'd want to go, but we'll have to see what happens. But Noah, let me know first, then Nick, what do you think about the Pittsburgh Penguins at the beginning?
Pittsburgh makes a lot of sense. I mean, you know, like you said, they're Crosby and Letang and Malkin are all kind of on their last legs of their career. So you kind of want to make a final run. Not to mention Kyle Dubas just got hired as well, so he's kind of not afraid to make a move. But I don't know if Pittsburgh really has the assets to trade for a guy like Connor Hellebuyck. Like, you know, Connor Hellebuyck he's a top 5 goalie in the league, right? And you look at some of the prospects, and I mean, maybe picks get it done, but I don't think, like, who's their best prospect? It might be Samuel Poulin, maybe a guy like Pierre Olivier Joseph. You know, I don't think it's enough. So I don't like Pittsburgh, but you never know.
Yeah, with Pittsburgh, I'm going to say their best bet is probably like a cap dump and then signing a goalie in free agency. I don't think a trade is going to work out because you're going to have to give up a lot, and they don't actually have a lot to give up. So I was thinking more along the lines of them just doing a cap dump with like Jeff Carter or something like that, and maybe signing a goalie for like anywhere between $4 and $6 million free agency. Like, there's a few goalies in free agency like Freddie Anderson and so on. So for Hellebuyck, it'd be nice for them to get Hellebuyck, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, it would certainly take a lot if they were to do with only draft picks as well. They'd have to give up. You would have to assume at least 2 first overall picks, at least 2 second. They would just accumulate too much and risk too much of their future if they wanted to go that route. But Pittsburgh would work in your head, but it might be a lot harder than you would think just looking at it on paper. But we're going to go over a second team here, which is the Ottawa Senators, which I think is actually my favorite. The Ottawa Senators, they made a bit of a goalie mistake, we'll say, last offseason, trading Philip Gustafson for Cam Talbot, which looked like a good move originally, but it just didn't work out. Cam Talbot probably won't be there much longer. They have rookie goalie Matt Sogard, 6'8". He's played fantastic as few games that he played in the NHL this year, but I don't think they want to rely on him too early. There's another player that we're going to be going over later, which is Alex Debrincat, which you might be able to see, like, if you trade him 1 for 1, you might get a little hint of what we were going to be going over later in the video, but I think the Ottawa Senators would work with Debrincat, with Hellebuyck. Getting a fantastic goalie, the Ottawa Senators are a team that are almost there. You can tell the way they've got a lot of young guys, a lot of experience as well with Claude Giroux. They got a mix of both. Very good talent on the team, and you just need that goalie. I think that could take him to the next level. So, Noah, what do you think about the Ottawa Senators?
Yep. No, I think you said it perfect. You know, they're looking for a guy kind of to get them over the hump. They just went out and got Jacob Chychrun as well. But, they need, like I said, they need a guy to get them over the hump, and I think Connor Hellebuyck will be perfect for that. They they don't have a great goaltending tandem there with Matt Sogard and Cam Talbot. So Connor Hellebuyck fits in absolutely perfect over there in Ottawa.
Yeah, I think that definitely works out for the Senators a lot better than it does for the Jets, because if you look just as for the 1-for-1 trade thing you said, because if you're the Jets, if that 1-for-1 thing happens, you're just put in another Pierre-Luc Dubois situation with the guy you need to sign to a contract, and like you might not be able to get that done. But for Hellebuyck, for the Senators, that's a phenomenal deal to sacrifice a little bit of offense, because you've got the offense. We've known the Senators have had a good offense for the last couple of years, and they've just needed defense and goaltending, and they got their defense in Jacob Chikrin. Maybe another guy or two they might need there, but the goaltending would be that would fix the hole in the net there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, maybe it might not be a 1-for-1 either. Could just be like, I think those two core players as the headline of the deal for each respective team wouldn't be a bad idea. Maybe you have to go a bit more into it. I know there's a lot more financial stuff that you'd have to go over, but that I like that idea. Something about that I'm liking about it. Now we're gonna go over a third team here, which is the New Jersey Devils. I think a lot of people would like this one. New Jersey. We could tell this year the playoffs they were very, very good. They had a goaltending problem up until about the second round with the whole issue they had was not bad, but Vitek Vanacek, he's all right, not the best though. You don't want to say that he's your starting goalie. Akira Schmid came in, played good, what we've seen up until they got eliminated, in which he was absolutely terrible. But if you get Hellebuyck in New Jersey, that team is very good, just like the Ottawa Senators. They have a very good core, very good offensively, very good defensively. All they need is that one top goalie. Kind of same situation, but I do like New Jersey as well, a bit more than the other teams, but maybe not Ottawa. Kind of the same situation, same offensive type talent, same defensive type talent. They get that goalie, I think they take the next step as well. So guys, what do you think about this one?
I think, well, you said they're like the same, New Jersey and Ottawa. I think I like the Devils a crazy amount. Like they're my pick, but I think they need to figure out their free agents first. You got guys like Timo Meier, Jesper Bratt, all guys who are going to command a hell of a lot of money. So I think they need to figure out on getting them signed first and then go out and look for their goalie. So I love New Jersey, but they need to get their priorities, I think.
Yeah, I like this for New Jersey a lot too. I was just going to say that you can't go into a playoff and not know who your goalie is, but look at Aiden Hill over there in generally speaking, that doesn't work, right? Like you usually got one guy you can go on until the finals if you're actually going to get that far. I think New Jersey they're getting there. They're getting up there, and like you said, they do need to figure out a few things first. But they got the assets they can give up for Connor Hellebuyck too. I would definitely like to see that happen for New Jersey.
Yep. Now we got our final team here as well, which is the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, Carolina, you wouldn't originally say they have a goalie problem right now. They signed Pyotr Kochetkov for a 4-year extension, you can see right there. But now their goalies, the two they had this year, Antti Raanta and Freddie Anderson, are both probably heading out in free agency. And is it really time that you could trust Pyotr Kochetkov right now as your starting goalie? I'm going to say no. I know he's a very good goalie, but I think if you get that mentorship of Connor Hellebuyck in front of him for just a little while at least, I think it gives the Carolina Hurricanes a better run at a Stanley Cup final appearance, as well as getting that experience for afterwards for Pyotr Kochetkov, because they have very good offense. I think they have that sorted out. They have good defense as well, but I think it's kind of the same situation as goalies with Ottawa and New Jersey. Just to get that goalie, they're there. I mean, the Hurricanes are pretty much already there. They just need to take that tiny extra step, and I think Connor Hellebuyck would be able to do that for them. So, Noah, what do you think about the final one that we have here?
I'm riding out Pyotr Kochetkov, I think. I'd much rather see them let Freddie Anderson and Antti Raanta walk and then try and build some more on their forward core, maybe their defense. Like Nick said with Aiden Hill over there, you never know what could happen with your goalies. So I think, as much as I like Carolina, and I think Carolina is very close, I don't think I like it.
I would like to agree with you, but at the same time, I think you can't just bet on a guy blindly. Like you don't know what this guy is going to be in a couple of years. Yeah. This is to me one of the moments where you maybe make that trade, or if not, sign another goaltender for 1 year and play Kochetkov. Maybe you split the time with him. Like if not, probably pick the other guy as your start.
Yeah.
But maybe play this guy, play Kochetkov 25, 30 games or something like that, and see if he can be that guy, and see if you you want to place all your chips on him. But then again, if it doesn't work out, at least you've got another guy for that year. Maybe you can extend him after and maybe get rid of Kochikov or something like that.
Yeah, that does make sense.
I think that's the route that I would go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a safe one because there's a big step between a good goalie and a great goalie. And can you really risk that step even if it's maybe like 10 games? 10 games could put you out of a playoff spot. No problem. We've seen it before. So
not when you're in the Carolina Hurricanes position, because they're in a position to win.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I mean, if not for Sergei Bobrovsky, they're in the Stanley Cup final after sweeping the Florida Panthers. So because those were all 1-goal games, and I'm telling you right now, if not for Bobrovsky, they're all Carolina Hurricanes wins. So
So I got the Ottawa Senators. Noah, you got the Devils. Nick, which team do you think is the favorite for Connor Hellebuyck in your opinion?
I'm going to say the Ottawa Senators. I've definitely got the Ottawa Senators in that case because I think that's a team that really needs like the goaltender. They've got their offense. They got their defense almost sorted out. And just the one more piece puts them at least in the playoffs, maybe as a contender. You never know what this team is going to do.
Yeah, it's a safe bet for either of the teams that we have, New Jersey and Ottawa. Same situation. They just need that goalie, but with all safe bets, we're going to see what happens if anything does happen at all. I mean, nothing's guaranteed with Connor Hellebuyck. Kind of depends on what the Jets decide to do right now. But now we're going to go over, like I said, in my opinion of why the Ottawa Senators would work, that they're exploring all options on Debrincat. So, this came out earlier. It's just Alex Debrincat. They're exploring all the options from Elliot Friedman, and many other people tweeted as well. But it's kind of a surprising move getting him there in the last offseason. Going to be an RFA. So the thing is with the RFA situation that if he does request a trade or wants out, I think the Ottawa Senators have a nice bit of leverage because there's no set contract on what he's making. So it could kind of adapt to any cap situation of what team wants him. You can probably... It probably wouldn't happen this way, but if he wants to sign maybe a 2-year deal, $5 million, the Senators want to retain 2.5. They probably could do that. I'm not even sure if you're allowed, but if that does happen, could be a possibility. Probably wouldn't do that if they're Ottawa in the situation they're in right now, the almost there situation. But they have a lot of flexibility of what kind of contract if they want to sign and trade, where they can go. Like I said, I think Connor Hellebuyck going to win it, him going in a 1-for-1 with Winnipeg would work, or a deal of those headlined players. It would work. But a team I like is the New York Islanders. They got a few prospects that they would be able to trade for him. They would be able to sign.
That's a different one.
Yeah, it is. But, the Hurricanes aren't really an offensively known team. They have great defense on offense and great defense on defense. But you wouldn't really be able to tell a player other than Matt Barzal on the team that has outstanding offense. Yeah. So I think adding him to that team could boost them up offensively while keeping their defensive core on offense and defense the same. So I do like the Islanders in this situation. A bit of an odd one, like you said, Noah, but I do like it. So, Noah, what do you think about the Debrincat situation?
I still like him on Ottawa. I know that's a little bit of a boring pick, and that's for our sake, as much as we'd all like to see him get traded, I think he stays in Ottawa. All three of us all said that Ottawa is almost there. They're ready to make that jump, and him on the Senators makes them that much better. He did have a little bit of a down year. I think he only had 25 or 26 goals last year, but he has a 40-goal ceiling, 100%. So, I mean, I don't know how much you can get him for. Like you said, we just seen Cole Caulfield get 7 and 7.8. So I do think Debrincat gets a little bit more, but I love him on Ottawa still.
Yeah, I'm going to say Debrincat's going to get more because that guy's a proven 2-time 40-goal scorer. Because Caulfield's an assumed 40-goal scorer. We're assuming with that, right? Because he would have hit it this year if he hadn't got injured. But with Debrincat, he definitely gets more than that. And I think I wouldn't mind to see him stay on Ottawa, but at the same time, I'm going to go with the Islanders like Kirk because I think the Senators have a little bit of flexibility here. Because if you look at what they didn't get this year was goaltending, and they didn't get very much defense. They can afford to make that trade for a goaltender and get rid of some offense because what you're losing in Debrincat, you're gaining back in a healthy Josh Norris this season. So Josh Norris wasn't healthy at all. They almost made the playoffs, and that offense was very good. Then you put Josh Norris in there where you had Debrincat, and you get some assets, maybe a goaltender for Debrincat, pretty good goaltender. I think it definitely works out to trade him.
What do you give up, though, if you're the Islanders? Like, they don't have a great prospect pool. Do picks get it done like Debrincat last year? I think it was like a first, a second, and a third, right? I don't know. It's
got to be centered around like a few, like probably a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and maybe Dufour or Wallstrom or something like that. But
yeah, okay, maybe that works.
It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, because I for a fact I think an offer sheet won't be on the table because he's probably going to want upwards, like you said, upwards of Caulfield, which at that point is 4 first-round picks for an offer sheet, which I don't think he's worth at all. Like, there is a bit of a stretch from like earning and deserving $9 million compared to getting 4 first-round picks. So I think the offer sheet's off the table, but you never know what's going to happen with him. I do like the idea of him staying as well. I think it would work for the Senators. Like you said, adding Josh Norris and keeping Debrincat, I think the offense only gets better. But the goaltending, you have to lean back on your goaltending at some points, and I don't think they can do that right now with their current situation. So we'll see what happens with that. We don't know yet. We'll see what happens. We got lots of time yet until the draft, until free agency, so we'll see. But that's all we got for this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a like, and also make sure to subscribe to the channel, like I said at the beginning of the video. If you want to see more from us, very exciting times. Thank you for watching. See you later.